For the last several months, we've talked about farmer sentiment softening. Well, in July, that changed. The Purdue University-CME Group Ag Economy Barometer rebounded from 113 in June to 126 in July as corn and soybean prices improved during the survey period. That's certainly good news. But what caught our attention wasn't the improvement in sentiment, it was what farmers identified as the biggest challenge facing their operations over the next 5 to 10 years. 30% said crop or livestock prices. That's an important shift because it tells us where producers think profitability will be won or lost in the years ahead. When we asked producers about their biggest long-run challenge, commodity prices topped the list by a wide margin. Farm transition came in second, cost control followed close behind. In third place, financial considerations and weather were next. Trade and government policy ranked even lower than these other items. Now, that doesn't mean that those issues aren't important, but producers are telling us that maintaining profitable prices or managing through periods of lower prices is their biggest concern. And given today's margin environment, that's very understandable. We're in a period where costs remain historically high, while commodity prices, particularly those for crops, have come off the highs we saw a few years ago. That combination leaves much less room for error. The survey revealed something else that fits this story extremely well. We asked producers what type of risk management education would help them the most in the upcoming year. 44% shows marketing, not financial management, not strategic planning. It wasn't even close. Marketing was by far and away the most commonly chosen item. That was true for both crop and livestock producers, but it was particularly true for crop producers. When farmers identify commodity prices as their biggest long-term challenge, it makes sense that improving marketing decisions becomes their highest educational priority. Marketing is one of the few tools producers have to actively manage price risk. You can't control the market, but you certainly can try to mitigate risk associated with the market. For example, you can't influence when you price grain, how you spread sales over time, and whether you use contracts or other marketing tools such as options to reduce risk. Those decisions become increasingly important when profit margins are tight. Now, despite these concerns, producers weren't entirely pessimistic. The overall barometer improved. Current conditions and future expectations both improved, particularly current conditions. The Farm Capital Investment Index also moved higher, suggesting producers felt somewhat more comfortable making major investments than they did just a month earlier. So this isn't a story about farmers losing confidence. It's really a story about recognizing where the biggest challenges are likely to come from. Even with better sentiment, producers understand that long-term profitability depends heavily on managing through volatile commodity markets. One other result reinforces that point. Only about 13% of producers said their farm was financially better off than a year ago. When looking ahead, 1 year, producers were almost evenly split between expecting their operation to improve and expecting it to get worse. This tells us that optimism has improved, but uncertainty remains. Higher grain prices helped sentiment this month. The question is whether stronger prices can be sustained and whether they increase even more. The July Ag Economy Barometer reminds us that confidence can improve quickly when markets move in the right direction, but it also highlights something much more fundamental. Farmers believe the biggest challenge over the next decade isn't simply producing a good crop, it's earning a profitable price for it. And that's why marketing continues to be one of the most valuable management tools producers can develop. If you'd like to explore the complete July Ag Economy Barometer results, including the data behind these findings, visit the Purdue Center for Commercial Agriculture website, which includes the current Ag Economy Barometer as well as historical surveys. If you found this Ag Brief helpful, be sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss future research updates from the Purdue Center for Commercial Agriculture.